Now, there's a really truly crazy story here, and it's a really important read, this article. Now, I can't read the whole thing to you guys due to time purposes. However, essentially what happened is there are this consulting group for President Trump who basically they helped him win. They have been exposed for breaking laws in many different ways. They were illegally taking information from Facebook users, and they were also basically making bribes to politicians, and that broke a lot of laws, and a lot of unethical shit went on as well, like basically trying to send, what they say is they would send Ukrainian women to political opponents' houses and try to get some dirt on them. Now, this group is called Cambridge Analytica. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. So, now here's what this article says. It says, senior executives at Cambridge Analytica, the data company that credits itself with Donald Trump's presidential victory, have been secretly filmed saying they could entrap politicians in compromising situations with bribes and Ukrainian sex workers. It says, in an undercover investigation by Channel 4 News, the company's chief executive, Alexander Nix, said the British firm secretly campaigns in elections across the world. This includes operating through a web of shadowy front companies or by using subcontractors. In one exchange, when asked about digging up material on political opponents, Mr. Nix said they could, quote, send some girls around to the candidate's house, adding that Ukrainian girls, quote, are very beautiful. I find that works very well. So essentially what he's saying there is, the way we deal with political opponents is we send women to their house and then try to, basically create some kind of dirt. Instead of finding dirt, you're creating dirt. This is another, he said, we'll offer a large amount of money to the candidate to finance his campaign in exchange for land, for instance. We'll have the whole thing recorded. We'll blank out the face of our guy and we post it on the internet. So this is literal exact bribes. So they're doing a direct exchange where they're receiving land and then the candidate is receiving money from, this group, Cambridge Analytica. So this is the textbook definition example of bribery. Now it says offering bribes to public officials is an offense under both the UK Bribery Act and the US Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Cambridge Analytica operates in the UK and is registered in the United States. And basically what they did is they sent, Channel 4 News, I guess, they sent somebody who was kind of this fake guy who was a wealthy guy who was trying to basically fund people who he wants to get into elections. It says the admissions were filmed at a series of meetings at London hotels over 4 months between November 2017 and January 2018. An undercover reporter for Channel 4 News posed as a fixer for a wealthy client, hoping to get candidates elected in Sri Lanka. Says Mr. Nix told our reporter, we're used to operating through different vehicles in the shadows, and I look forward to building a very long-term and secretive relationship with you. So just from hearing that, this is some scary shit you're looking at, because you essentially have this group that's just breaking laws, many different laws, bribery laws in both the UK and the US, and they're also, illegally taking information like you guys heard about through Facebook users, and then now they're just doing massively unethical stuff, basically creating dirt instead of finding a dirt, which is the literal worst thing that you can do in terms of ethics. Now, it says, along with Mr. Nix, the meetings also include Mark Turnbull, the managing director of CA Political Global, and the company's chief data officer, Dr. Alex Taylor. So, it says Mr. Turnbull described how having obtained damaging material on opponents, Cambridge Analytica can discreetly push it onto social media and the internet. He said, quote, we just put information into the bloodstream of the internet and then watch it grow. Give it a little push every now and again, like a remote control. It has to happen without anyone thinking. That's propaganda, because the moment you think that's propaganda, the next question is, who's put that out? Mr. Nix also said, many of our clients don't want to be seen to be working with a foreign company, so often we set up, if we are working, then we can set up fake IDs and websites. We can be students doing research projects attached to a university. We can be tourists. There's so many options we can look at. I have lots of experiences in this. So we got more illegal activity by creating fake IDs, committing fraud, and websites that are going on. And this whole operation seems like a very scary gig. Basically, like I said, there's this group that's just massively influencing elections all around the world, basically undermining a democracy. A democracy isn't truly a democracy if it's being funded by this group, and this group is really who controls who gets in office. It's not really a true democracy because the people aren't choosing people. It's this group that's funding everything, and they're the ones controlling who gets in there. And not only that, but they're doing it through illegal means. Again, this is a textbook case of bribery. Like they said, they will often fund a campaign for a candidate in some country, and then they would basically do it in exchange for land. And that is, again, a textbook case example of a bribery, of a bribe, not a bribery, of a bribe. So they're doing that. They're making fake IDs, which is fraud, and just they're doing all kinds of shit. And again, illegal obtaining of information through Facebook. It's just fucking crazy, honestly.